Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello everyone and welcome to Ask Rob and Rob, the show where you get your questions in to us. And whether we're answering them here on Ask Rob and Rob or each and every Sunday in the Sunday Times, we enjoy it, obviously, because we keep doing it. And let's make sure we carry on enjoying ourselves by reminding you how you can get your questions in.
It's so easy. All you've got to do is go to propertyhub.net/ask. From there, you can either leave us a voicemail directly on the page, or there's a number where you can give us a ring. You get multiple attempts so you can make sure you get it right, and your question will wing its way over to us.
This week, our first question is from Tom.
Hi, Rob and Rob. This is Tom calling with a question about rent-to-rent schemes. So I've recently joined a property investment group that is hosted by some very well-known people in the industry. I won't name names, but they put out a lot of great content on property investment and development, and they have this investment group. Now, they're putting in deals that people can get involved with that obviously require some capital up front, and the returns that are being promised are absolutely incredible. The main ones where we're seeing these returns are kind of rent-to-rent schemes, and they're promising things like 150% return on investment, where you are essentially guaranteeing rent for a property and then paying a company to manage it as an Airbnb. Obviously, this sounds amazing, sounds very attractive, and you have some people that are very well known in the industry with good reputations who are putting these deals forward. Am I naive to go into one of these deals and obviously put my investment into it, hopefully to get these returns? Are they just a scam? Is there a lot more to worry about than obviously what they're saying? And the second part of my question is, if I was to go for one of these deals and, see what happens with it, what would you put in place? What would you have to really think about from a legal perspective and things like that? So yeah, that's my main two concerns with the kind of rent-to-rent schemes. Any advice and guidance you could give would be hugely appreciated. Thanks very much.
Tom, thank you for your question. It's a very niche strategy, what you've been offered here. And I must admit, my property spidey sense is tingling here and I sense danger. Now, that might be unfair, but I'll tell you why. And I'm only going off the information you've given. You've not privately told me who these people are, and I don't have any more information than everyone else has got here listening to this. But if anybody was offering me 150% return on investment, I would just walk away straight away. Because why on earth would somebody offer me 150% return on an investment and just not do it themselves over and over again? Because rent-to-rent schemes often don't require a lot of money in. That's normally the case. So if you can get that type of return for low capital invested, if it was me and I had that on my hands, I would just do it over and over again. I would go borrow from the bank at 5, 6, 7, 8% and just keep pouring the money in, because this is a cash machine, right? You pour money in and it comes out. It's too good to be true. Now, maybe that 150% return is over a long, long period of time, and maybe because I don't have all the detail, I've missed some important piece of information. But the truth is, with all investment, that when you see mega returns, you should be very, very skeptical. And I've seen it happen over and over again where people have been promised big returns and then things have gone wrong. And the smart providers, they're doing stuff like 20, 25% returns, where it starts to become a little bit believable, where you can go, okay, maybe that is possible. Maybe I can earn that each year. And again, I've seen so many of those schemes go kaput, whether they're property related or otherwise. So maybe you've unearthed one of those rare beasts where you can get deals with this type of return. But honestly, Tom, I would be very, very cautious and very, very skeptical. And I would do so much research, because it's a niche area of investment in the first place. So it demands a lot of research just for that. But with those returns being offered, it makes me very skeptical. So don't just rely on the reputation of the people who are presenting it to you. Something that Rob and I say very frequently on the podcast is research our research. Hopefully we're perceived to have good reputations in the market, but we could be wrong. So even if we are good guys, and even if we do offer investments that we believe in, we could be wrong. And you know what? We have been wrong in the past. We've done so many deals over the years that a few have not gone as well as we'd hoped. Now, nobody's lost their shirts and it's not gone kaput, but it's still not been an enjoyable process for us and them. Now, I'm pleased to say the vast majority of the investments we've done have gone well, and that's why we're still here. But nobody has a perfect record. So maybe challenge them and go, okay, which of these deals have gone wrong? And again, if they say it's never happened, that's another warning sign, because nobody is perfect. There is no perfect investor. Even Warren Buffett has got investments wrong. So please tread with caution and do lots and lots of research.
Well, we've got Rob and Rob, and today we've got Tom and Tom. We've got another Tom, so let's see if we can navigate our way through this question.
Hi, Rob and Rob. This is Tom calling with a very quick question about limited companies. There's obviously a lot of debate around whether you should buy properties in your own name or buy them through a limited company. And one of the drawbacks of a limited company is obviously you could potentially be taxed twice. Once for corporation tax on the profits, and then once again if you were to take the money out in the form of income tax. My question would be, if your company, for example, made £30,000 in profit, but before you declared those profits made a salary for yourself of £30,000, would that mean that no corporation tax was applied to the company? And obviously then just income tax would be applied to you as an individual. I'm just looking here at the best way that you could set up and run a limited company, minimising the amount of tax you spend. So, yeah, the question is, when you pay your employees or yourself a wage from the company, does that go down as an expense and reduce the amount of profits the company makes? Thanks very much for your help.
Tom, thank you for your question. Now, clearly, Rob and I are not qualified tax advisors, and you should speak to someone who is. But you don't need to be a tax advisor to give the general principle, which is that, yes, if you were to pay out all your profit as salary, that would reduce the profit of the company to zero, and therefore the company would have no corporation tax to pay. But of course, if it was that easy, everyone would just do that. And what you would probably find is that you would still end up paying a whole load of tax, but paying it personally instead, because presumably you already have another income source. So this would be adding more income on top, which means that the majority or all of that income would probably fall into a high tax bracket. And what the company would have is national insurance contributions to make as well. So one way or another, there's always going to be a fair bit of tax to pay. And anything you can think of that sounds like it might be a workaround probably isn't, because HMRC will have thought of it first. But that's not to say that what you've suggested is the wrong thing for you. It might not be. The thing about tax is that everyone's situation is completely different. And that includes whether you should be owning properties within a company or as an individual to start with. And if you do go down the company route, then how you extract funds from that company, and if you even extract them at all, it's going to be different for everyone. And the thing that I will never tire of saying, because you see the implications of people not doing this all the time, is that you should figure out the right answer properly, not based on just having a go yourself, but work with a professional to do this as early in the process as you can, because trying to change it later can be really difficult and really expensive. So we've got a video on our YouTube channel about this, which obviously doesn't give you the answer, but it gives you the rule of thumb to use about which is likely to be the best option. And that video links to a free PDF of questions that you should be able to answer before you speak to a tax professional, because they ultimately can tell you what you should do given your goals and your objectives, but they can't tell you what your goals and objectives are. So that document is quite a useful exercise to go through before you pay someone for tax advice. So to find that, just search YouTube for Property Hub Limited Company. That video will come up, and hopefully you'll find that useful. But ultimately, taking a bit of advice from a professional will save you a lot more than it costs you.
Well, that's us done for another week. Thank you so much. But don't worry, because on Sunday, we'll be answering more of your questions in the Sunday Times. Check out the home section and you'll see our smiling faces beaming back at you. And of course, the main event, the Property Podcast, will be with you on Thursday. So until those two wonderful events occur, take care, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.